Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tear, where I've been featuring my personal list of the top 3,000 rock songs of all time from 1954 to 1999. Today I'm up to song number 2910, and that one is West End Girls by the Pet Shop Boys. And this one actually went to number one. I think it went to number one in several countries, including the UK, which is where Pet Shop Boys was from. It was also a number one Billboard hit in 1986. I'm not really crazy about this song, and I'm not really crazy about the band, the Pet Shop Boys, either. I guess they were kind of a new wave band from England. There were some new wave bands from the 80s I liked a lot better than the Pet Shop Boys. I don't know. They were just kind of a strange band, I thought. But the song West End Girls was released on this album called Please, and same year, 1986. It also had their follow-up hit, which was called Opportunities. Let's make lots of money. So you can kind of tell what their philosophy was. I mean, like a lot of other bands from the 80s, they were very materialistic. I guess kind of like Madonna, who had the hit Material Girl. There was a lot of materialism in the 80s. I remember the 80s. It was a very materialistic decade. I wasn't crazy about that aspect of it. It was kind of a reaction to the 60s and 70s, I guess. I was sort of wishing I was still in the 60s during the 80s, but, I missed the 60s and, c'est la vie, I guess. But anyway, yeah, so it was a very popular song. Pet Shop Boys were very successful, mainly in England. I mean, they had 13 top 10 albums in England, only one in the USA. I think the only top 10 album for Pet Shop Boys in the USA was this one, Please, which featured West End Girls. But they had a few other hits. They had, I guess I'll just run through their hits. Here's a picture of the Pet Shop Boys, by the way, and you can see they look like a kind of a new wave British band. They weren't a big hair band. I guess they were a little hair band. They didn't have much hair. Maybe they were trying to look more proper. I don't know. I prefer the big hair bands like Duran Duran and Culture Club. These guys are a little too clean cut for me, I think. I don't know. I don't even know their names. The guy on the left almost looks like a Man in Black. A Man in Black. They don't look like guys I want to mess with. But anyway, yeah. So what were the top 10 songs in the USA? The first was West End Girls, the one I'm featuring today, which went to number one. Their follow up, like I said, was Opportunities. Let's make lots of money. Both of those came out in 1986. And then the following, in 1989, they had a song called "It's a Sin." And then they had another hit, which I do kind of like. It was a duet, or I don't know if you call it a duet, but it featured Dusty Springfield. It was called "What Have I Done to Deserve This?" And I really do like Dusty Springfield, and she was a big British artist in the '60s. She had several hits I'm featuring on my list, by the way, from the '60s. I'm not sure if "What Have I Done to Deserve This" is on my list, but I have all of our big '60s hits on my list. I do really like her. I mean, she was pretty materialistic too, actually. I heard that right before she died, she put on her will that she wanted to make sure that her cat was fed caviar for the rest of its life. I'm not sure if it was, but I was kind of disappointed when I learned that. But anyway, yeah. So, and then they had one other hit called "Always on My Mind." That came out in '88, I guess. Hey, actually, it's a sin and what have I done to deserve this? Came out in '87. Yeah. So their last top 10 hit in the USA was a remake of "Always on My Mind," which was originally done by Willie Nelson. And I didn't care for Willie Nelson's version when I heard it. I was not a big fan of country music in the early '80s. I think I've grown to appreciate country music a lot more since. I even like Willie Nelson now. I wasn't a big fan of Willie Nelson at the time. Now I do really like the song Always on My Mind. As a matter of fact, I think it came in pretty high on my list. But, I guess it had to grow on me first, and he had to grow on me. But when the Pet Shop Boys came up with their remake of Always on My Mind, I actually liked it better than Willie Nelson's original version. I never thought he was a good singer, and I still don't think he was a very good singer. But I've grown to appreciate his music. I don't know why. I mean, I guess he was just kind of a simple country man. I don't know why I like him now, but I kind of do. But anyway, that's my feature on West End Girl. Oh, and I didn't even say what the song's about. I think before I leave, I should say what the song's about. This is a cover of their number one album in England called what's it called? I don't remember the name. But they had one number one album in England, Fade, I think. Well, it was just a orange cover. And then, yeah, I just want to say something about the song West End Girls. So the West End refers to the West End of London. And it's really a song about kind of a class struggle between the East End boys and the West End girls. I guess they were supposed to be the East End boys. They came from the poor side of England. The East End, I guess, was the poor part of England, and the West End was the rich part. And I heard the song was actually based on a poem by T.S. Eliot from 1922. I forget the name of the poem, but he talks about the same kind of class struggle in England, and I guess they just decided to make a song about it. And I know that there's a lot of social problems in England. There's been for a long time. I know there's a lot of, they've had a long, long history of class distinction, and I think there's still very sharp class boundaries in England and London in particular. And I think that's very unfortunate. I mean, unfortunately, it's getting to be like that here in the United States as well, but I think most of the world, we've had sharp divisions between rich and poor. And there's a lot of songs about it. There's a lot of literature about it. And, I think it's good that the Pet Shop Boys wrote a song about it, I guess, even though I'm not crazy about the song. I think I mostly just don't really like the song because I don't really like the melody. There's a lot of rap in it. There's not much tune. And, I'm just not crazy about the Pet Shop Boys, which is why I put it pretty low on my list, even though it wasn't number one. So anyway, that's my profile on West End Girls by the Pet Shop Boys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.